So Nintendo's war on emulation is something I document quite often on this channel because I am someone that definitely believes in emulation. Whether you like it or not, you have to agree that emulation is really the only way to preserve video games because these other companies are never going to play ball. And when it comes to Nintendo's legacy content, it is definitely something I feel very strongly about because you get situations that just don't make any sense. We've talked a lot recently about various things that Nintendo has been doing, such as targeting Retro Game Core's YouTube channel for uploading a video about Wii U emulation on Android devices. There's no rhyme or reason for Nintendo to really do that. You can't buy a Wii U game, you can't access a Wii U eShop, you cannot buy a Wii U system right now in 2024 that would benefit Nintendo in any sort of financial way. Everything is on a secondary market. So that's something I'm usually very strongly opinioned about. But when you get to newer systems and current hardware and stuff like that, yeah, that's definitely more of a gray area thing. We've seen it with emulators such as Ryu, Jinx, and of course Yuzu, which an emulator in and of itself is not illegal, but if you do illegal things tied with that emulator, it definitely becomes a gray area situation, and sometimes, yes, it does become an illegal situation. Now, I still think Nintendo needs to look in the mirror and kind of understand why these things happen and only seem to happen to them, especially with their newer hardware and their new game releases. How do they even get out in the open anyways? Why can it run on every device under the sun? Why is there no piracy protection put on your own software? But I get it. You know, at the end of the day, I do understand these sorts of situations. But no one has ever really tried to fight Nintendo tooth and nail on this whole sort of thing until now. And let me just go ahead and say, this is a bad idea. Ryan, if you're watching this video, and you might be, because I kind of know you, I kind of know your website, this is not a good idea. Man to man, this is not a fight that you really want to do. And I'm just trying to give you a little bit of advice. I'm pretty sure you're a bit younger than I am, so I don't know, man. If this is where you want to hang your hat, this probably isn't where you want to do it. So there's a website called Modded Hardware, and I know this website. Now, in a recent article done by Torrent Freak, they are basically summarizing what is currently happening with Ryan and this whole situation. So in June of this year, Nintendo filed additional lawsuits in U.S. courts to further intensify the crackdown being of, you know, MIG switches and stuff like that. One of these complaints targeted Modded Hardware and its alleged operator, Michigan resident Ryan Daly, who's also known under the alias the Homebrew Homie. Clearly, he's a little bit younger. Nintendo and Daly were no strangers at the time. In March, Nintendo threatened Daly with a lawsuit. Both parties agreed that the allegedly unlawful activity, which includes selling MIG devices and modded consoles, would stop. That didn't happen. However, so Nintendo sued Daly at federal court in Seattle instead. And then you get into the situation that is currently happening with this. So mod switches, illegal, you know, pre-installed chips that allow you to play everything. You see this stuff pop up online, and usually it's from a place like China, because you can't do any sort of jurisdiction, at least right now in China, because there are no real sort of copyright laws there. But when you are talking about a state and you live in a state that does have copyright laws, you do open yourself to situations like this. And people used to think that Brazil was kind of a wild, wild west until we saw the Ryu Jinx situation, which we learned that, hey, it's not the wild, wild west, because Nintendo would be like, open the door. It's Shigeru and Mario. We're coming to collect, pal. So, you know, it's definitely a very interesting situation. So you see the various devices that were here. In addition to selling hardware hacks, the defendant also offered mail-in modding services and modded versions of Switch consoles for the less technically inclined. There were also these were also reportedly loaded with pirated games, according to the complaint. Right then and there, we have a problem. Pirating games on the system that are new games. Defendant not only offers the hardware and firmware to create and play pirated games, but also provides its customers with copies of pirated games. Technically, when a customer purchases a hacked console or the circumvention services, Defendant pre-installs on the console a portfolio of ready-to-play pirated games, including some of Nintendo's most popular titles, such as its Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and Metroid games. Red flags. Major red flags with this. You gotta be smarter than this, because this is probably really, if I'm an outsider looking in on this, this is what the problem was. It wasn't necessarily the hack switch and then you do whatever you want with it. It wasn't necessarily the MIG switch. I feel like having it preloaded with games on it, like your Zeldas, your Marios, and stuff like that, that's probably what pissed them off the most. And then they just added everything else into the situation. So, obviously, not a great look here. Overall, Nintendo alleges that modded hardware trafficked in circumvention devices by selling mod chips and MIG devices. That also violates the DMCA, for which Nintendo demands damages. In addition, the game company seeks damages for direct and contributory copyright infringement, accusing the defendant of adding pirated games to the console. So, a little overboard out of Nintendo. I mean, you're still selling ridiculous amounts of software. You're still selling ridiculous amounts of hardware, regardless of these outlier people who probably aren't going to buy your stuff in the first place. But you know what? I get it. So at this point in time, you would think, all right, you know what? You caught me. You got me in a bit of in some mud here. I modded hardware. I'm going to stop. No, it's not the case, because Ryan filed an answer to the complainant. The alleged modded hardware operator goes up against Nintendo without an attorney and denies any wrongdoing. This includes the claim that Daly is the owner and operates the modded hardware business. Oh, God. The answer doesn't include much substance. It mostly repeats Nintendo's claims, simply responding with the words denied. In response to general allegations, Daly replies that he lacks sufficient information to either admit or deny the allegations, which are therefore denied. Okay. Now, you can't... 17 affirmative defenses, fair use, invalid copyrights, a lack of standing, fraudulent inducement, an arbitrary clause, failure to state a claim, and unjust enrichment. Look at all of this. Look at this. And yeah. Okay. So when you answer a lawsuit, now you're going to court. Now they're taking your ass to court because you said, no, I didn't do anything wrong. And you don't have a lawyer. You don't have an attorney. Are you crazy, bro? Like, bro, so they still have the website up. It requires a password to access. Ryan, let's have a little talk here, brother. Let's have a little talk here. You want to be the one to fight Nintendo on this. Admirable. But they have you dead to rights. This goes back to when they said, hey, stop. And you had an opportunity to stop with no legal recourse. You had an opportunity to put an end to it, sail off into the sunset, enjoy your earnings, because you probably did all right in terms of monetary value with this. You had a chance to ride off into the sunset. You told them, yes, you would stop. And then you pulled the Diddy. Can't stop, won't stop. Not a good look. Taking this to trial. The last Mr. Big, he would be a little bit impressed by this. Take that shit to trial, bitch. But the last Mr. Big would have attorneys. He would have a legal team backing him. This isn't smart. This will probably never get into a courtroom because they're going to bleed you for every dollar and penny you have, and then probably take more on top of that, and you will be constantly indebted to them. You should have taken the olive branch, but now you haven't. And like I said, dude, like, you know, it's I guess admirable to some degree that you want to be the one to fight Nintendo on this, but unless there is some absolute trump card that you just haven't shown, and like somehow, some way you don't own the website, but you clearly do, this isn't gonna end well for you, bro. This isn't gonna end well. I don't think I've ever seen a situation quite like this. You know, you might want to, you know, get a passport. You might want to hop on a cargo plane to another country and just disappear. Just disappear for a little while. You know, they show up at your house. Oh, we don't know where he is. We can't find him. And, you know, 10 years down the road, you come back. And go to the jungle or something, bro. This isn't gonna. This. Like I said, I don't like it when Nintendo throws their e-peen around with this sort of stuff. And most times, I do think they kind of overstep their boundaries. But if you make an agreement with someone, and the person says, hey, I'm going to stop, and then they don't stop, what do you expect to happen? You know? What do you expect to happen? So, good luck, sir. You know, well, I'll update you guys if anything else happens with this, but this is fascinating to me. So let me know in the comments section down below. What do you think about this? Do you think Ryan has a case there? I don't know, man. That don't look good to me. And let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you buy my book on Amazon. Link in the description box down below. Good luck to you, Ryan. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.